Artificial intelligence, or AI, refers to machines or software that are able to simulate human intelligence and perform tasks that are normally associated with it, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and translation. They are usually described as having cognitive abilities that humans can only dream of. We want to discuss whether artificial intelligence is actually a threat to the survival of the human race, or if it is just another tool to make our lives easier. From books to films, most forms of media display artificial intelligence in a negative light, the creation of which usually leads to dystopian scenarios, more often than not. On top of that, there is a belief among some academics, such as Stephen Hawking, that AI will begin to resemble its creators. More alarmingly, they will strive to become the dominant species of this planet, making humans obsolete. Fear-mongering aside, why can't we dictate what AI can and can't do? We already rely on AI for our day-to-day needs, and as far as we know, there haven't been any reports of robots trying to murder us. The USA and China's spending on AI was over $300 billion in 2011, clearly showing that these countries think AI research and development is a top priority. However, showing the amount of investment by these specific countries, people could assume that the applications would be anything but peaceful. Regardless of whether people are against AI development or not, it looks like AI will be here to stay. On any given day, any person with access to a piece of electronics, whether it's a smartphone or car, relies on artificial intelligence. While it's no surprise that these rudimentary AIs are miles away from the self-aware ones portrayed in The Matrix or iRobot, it can't be underestimated how much they provide hundreds of extremely important tasks to people. GPS systems rely on AI to calculate the best route to take using traffic predictions. AI algorithms and cameras can predict individual faces and even understand our speech. Google and Bing can predict our searches and intentions and base their recommendations on them. Human interaction is being minimized in exchange for systems that aren't prone to as many mistakes as we are. There is a constant worry among people that this will result in a loss of jobs for people. Ironically, Elon Musk, one of the people preaching that jobs will be lost, is also developing a self-driving car. The automation of systems is a benefit that really outweighs any negatives. It reduces human error and makes for an industry with better standards and faster output. One major risk is an AI using incomplete or low quality code. Everyone is familiar with errors and crashes in regular software. However, what if surgical AIs, weapon systems, or self-driving cars were capable of mistakes or riddled with bugs? Anyone working with incomplete data is capable of mistakes, and that includes AI. Why would people trust computer systems with their lives if they were just as prone to accidents as a human? One way around this is if AIs were capable of learning from mistakes. At the moment, AIs can't really calculate the likelihood of a mistake, but in the future, if AIs can learn from experience, then accidents should decrease dramatically. Google is developing a self-programming computer with neural networks, allowing it to invent programs for a multitude of different situations. In the future, this could allow an AI to constantly improve itself and even remove any constraints placed on its behavior. If it can remove these rules, what can we do to stop it from harming humans? AIs already have a large influence over us and our lives. However, what would happen if the AIs in charge of these systems were to turn against us? One of the only few possibilities that an AI could be purposely created to be malicious is for military applications. Right now, worms, viruses, and trojans are being developed for intrusions into foreign computer systems. If a self-aware AI were to be capable of self-replicating like these viruses and infecting entire networks, it could bring infrastructures to their knees. The US military is already researching AI-controlled drones and robots to replace regular soldiers and reduce the number of friendly human casualties in war. In science fiction scenarios such as Terminator or Battlestar Galactica, these AI-controlled robots are unrelenting and near unstoppable in their quest to commit human genocide. How could we stand against an opponent that doesn't feel tired or hungry and can replace any losses with minimal effort? Say an AI is tasked with lowering emissions and improving the environment. it discovers that the only way to achieve this goal is to deindustrialize society, or even to go a few steps further. An AI would be pragmatic and rely on logic to make these decisions, not emotion. So what can we do to stop an AI from making decisions that harm human lives? Surely we could give all AI a set of rules to follow that would stop situations like this from happening. Science fiction author Isaac Asimov published his 3 Laws of Robotics in 1964. These laws dictate robots to protect humans from harm and protect themselves as long as it doesn't harm another human. As mentioned before, soon self-programming computers will be developed. What could stop them from programming themselves to ignore these specific laws? In another scenario, 2 self-driving cars are about to collide. Swerving away could end up taking the lives of bystanders. If the AI is forced to choose, how can it adequately weigh the lives of its passengers against the lives of others? Of course, taking the decision out of people's hands should reduce the number of accidents, but how would someone react if their life wasn't judged to be of the same value as another? There is a hypothesis that states AI will eventually exceed human control and radically change us and our society. This event is referred to as a singularity. The emergence of this superintelligence is predicted to happen sometime after 2040, but similarly to other predictions over the years, it could take much longer because it relies entirely on quantum computing development. Around this time frame, our current technological progress is believed to explode exponentially. Unfortunately, it's doubtful that this growth will happen instantly overnight, and furthermore, it's unclear whether this superintelligence will be benign or cause irreparable harm. This uncertainty can obviously make people uneasy about the development of an AI whose intelligence would outscale ours dramatically, especially when that intelligence is coupled with the same self-preservation and need for resources that we have. Even a purely rational superintelligence can see the need to deal with any possible threats proactively. Those threats could even be normal people who won't give up their resources willingly. Reiterating what we mentioned before, any constraints placed on the superintelligent AI could be removed by itself, allowing it to commandeer whatever it deems necessary to complete its goals. However, outright banning superintelligent AIs limits us and our technological advances as a whole. Every advance that we make gives us advantages that will improve our lives. AIs will most definitely overtake us. What we need to worry about is their needs and goals, and how we deal with AIs whose goals differ from us immensely. How can you reason with something that thinks in a completely different way to us? There is no guarantee that they will value art, music, selflessness, or human welfare. Elon Musk compares the development of a superintelligence to that of summoning a demon in a pentagram, stating that we aren't in control as much as we think we are. A double-edged sword, to be sure. We could allow paranoia to overtake us and start destroying anything even resembling an AI, or imprisoning any academics involved in its research. But in reality, artificial intelligence doomsday scenarios are more science fiction than science fact. Our jobs and even our lives will become easier because of the work that AIs can perform for us, and each of the risks we have discussed are being researched and dealt with right now. Most programmers believe that we should be in control of what we program. As industries, businesses and homes begin to rely on AIs more and more, we need to be aware that they are in critical positions and that we are responsible for their overall behavior. In some cases, AI has even displayed an ability to be more capable than humans. IBM's Watson and Deep Blue showing themselves capable of beating experienced players in Jeopardy and chess respectively. Responsibility falls on us to make sure these future AIs follow a strict set of rules and guidelines that cannot be removed or overwritten. In our opinion, there is a great deal to be optimistic about when it comes to a future with AIs.